We now return to Ominous Prime.
Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Jason, also known as Ominous Prime. Today we're going to be taking a look at GigaPower's Superator HQ01R. Before we get into taking a look at this, we're going to be taking a look at the box that it comes in. As you can see, this is GigaPower Toys. It strives to produce the best quality products. However, depending on the specific time of your purchase, even the same type of items may vary in terms of the toy itself, packaging, illustrations, etc. We appreciate your understanding. And there's a couple QR codes if you want to go ahead and access that. But they still make this, so you can probably still find it without too much of a problem. And here's the back of the box here. If you want to read that, you can yourself. And it does come with quite a bit of accessories. When you get them in the packaging, you would have them sitting in here. And as you can see, I have him with the blue face, but it does come with red as an option if you prefer to have that. It's got these teeth that are molded in on the side for detail, which is more like what you would have had in the comics. And for the crown, it's keyed to fit one way, so you try to put it on backwards like I did there, it won't fit. I tend to keep it in the box because it doesn't transform well with that. Essentially, this is what you would get. And it's kind of reminiscent of what you would get if you were getting an official product. All right, and before we look at the bot itself, let's go ahead and look at the accessories that it comes with. This is his blaster. With Superator, they did something a little bit different here. They did not make it so that this would light up like the other weapons for the other Gigasaurs in the line. But there's a lot of nice detail that's on here that's a lot like the toy. And that's what these are. They're more of the toy aesthetic, and some people prefer it, some people don't. Some people want to have more of a toon look. And here is a sword. There's a lot of detail actually molded in there. Sorry, it's hard to come up on here. All right, there we go. And for this, if you undo the screws here, this would open up on the handle. You would put in your batteries, and the manual had what battery types over there. So if you wanted to go back, you could take a look at it. But pressing this button here at the bottom illuminates the blade. So he does have a weapon that lights up. It's just not the blasting rifle that would do that. Now, I've had this guy here for a few years now. This is the first time I'm making a video for this one to go ahead and show you how it transforms. But you can see that there's a lot of painted detail on here. A lot of molded detail. And you'll notice that I haven't had any flaking of the paint. This is a heavy dude. And even on this back plate here, there's a lot of engraved detail on here. Inside the wings, there's painted detail. Even the chrome that's on the arms here, there's nothing flaking off of it. And it's held up really well. There's a lot of detail here. It's included. And additional detail here. And I know that there's going to be people that complain that there's too many screw holes here. But it doesn't bother me. That's the inside of his legs. And there's a lot of die cast in this guy. Like I said, it's a heavy dude. Now, when you first get this, this is actually not attached. So before you put this on, if you have an emblem that you want to put on there, you can go ahead and do so before going and closing this up. As far as articulation goes for him, his head does do a full 360. He can look a little bit down, quite a bit up. And it's a ball joint, so you can tilt his head if you need to. And I'm going to move these out of the way. These are actually articulate, so you can move them down or up. Pose it however you want. And you can open it up even further. Whichever way you want to go ahead and do that for posing. The shoulders are ratcheted. I'm sure you heard that. It comes out all the way up to there. Let's go ahead and get him in the T-pose. You can rotate this a full 360, however, the wings in the back are going to get in the way, so you'll have to make some adjustments to get it to go around. There is a bicep rotation that is also ratcheted. And for the elbow, it's actually double jointed, but it only gets you the 90, which I would like more, but it works for most poses. You do get a wrist rotation, full 360, and with each one of these, the hands are done a little bit differently, and they get better with each one that was done, and this one was done really well. So you have get them better in frame. Individually articulated fingers. They're actually able to articulate at each point. So you can get a variety of different poses that you want, or gestures, whatever you need to do. The thumb is on a ball joint here where it attaches to the hand, so you can twist it around and bend it however you need to. It's got the traditional masterpiece slot in the hand, so that if you want to include the weapons, just make the thumb out of the way, and it just slots in, and he holds it pretty well. And then you can close the fingers out around it however you want. The gun is also in the same way, just slots in, no problem. Now, there's confusion out in the community about the articulation, for some reason, having to do with the waist. Now, he does have the waist rotation. That's the one that most people get. What people tend to miss is back here there's a button right here. It's not painted like the rest of the body, so it's kind of easy to tell where it is. This actually gives you an ab crunch, and you get a lot more posability out of them because of that. And nothing scrapes. And you don't get a weird break in the sculpt either. As far as the legs go, you got hip skirts in front and back and to the side. You can go up to here, stays on tight, and you can go back that far, which is more than you'd probably need. And side, ratcheted and holds really well. At the knee, you get 90. It doesn't go up or down. And they did something a little weird here. They made it so that you can go out. So it's a little odd. Under here, though, you do have this that does help rotate and help stabilize them if you need to when you're posing. So the next thing that we're going to go ahead and take a look at here is going to be transformation. This actually transforms pretty much how you think Grimlock should transform. So first, you'll want to go ahead and get to the arm, but you want to go ahead and bend it like this. This allows for this to open up. Because if you don't have it like this, what will happen is this will actually butt up against here and not open. And I've seen people force it and cause damage to the arm. But once you have this open, just go ahead and make a fist, fold it in, close it back up. This side, again, what you're going to do is you're going to straighten it here, and then you're going to bend it forward. So you can open that up. This one's already in a fist, so just rotate it in. And that'll close up. I'm just moving the wings out of the way just to give me some room. And here, these slide forward. That's the gold parts. And back here, that extends upward. I'm just moving some things to kind of get out of the way so I have more room to operate. These will actually position in. I'm just moving it again, just to get some room. Okay. The shoulders you're going to pop out. If you don't have it quite right here, it just means you didn't pull this forward enough. Now under here they have these grooves. You're going to rotate it down. But before pushing it in, you're going to slide this down. Like so. Now when you have it pushed in, what happens is it locks this mechanism so it doesn't go up or down. And then you would slide these back into place. Now before closing all this up, I'm going to go to the legs to work on that. So in here on the legs, there's a flap that you're going to flip up that unlocks this so you can open this up. And then you can extend this all the way out after folding that back in. And then here at the end of the tail, you just pop this out, rotate it, and you're going to leave it like this because you'll connect it towards the end. Okay, so here you want to rotate it out just so you can see what it looks like with the other leg. It's now facing the other way around. I just twisted it at the thigh, which I forgot to show during articulation, but it does rotate at the thigh. So again, on this side, before I flip it in, if you have trouble getting to it, you can twist it like this, and this will get you access to that tab. Okay. Flip that up. And this extends right here. It's meant to. If you look inside here, there's a spring that allows you to go ahead and extend it out, and it'll pull it right back. Usually I have a spudger handy, so I'm doing this with my fingernails that have been trimmed. So bear with me a sec. Okay, there we go. And just twist, and it's out. Okay, and twist it out. Alright, so now that we have the legs like that, you're going to rotate the legs inward. And the reason why I have these lifted is you're going to angle it. And you can kind of see how this is going to go. Now before you get that far, you have these pieces here that are at the bottom. you're going to twist that up like that. Sorry, I'm going to twist it up so it's facing like this. I'll show you on this side since I think I was out of frame. So here, you're going to grab it, you're just going to twist it up. Okay. And what these parts are going to do, it's going to fill up this back area right here. Right? So you just rotate this in at that angle. Same on this side. Just make sure you get the clearance. And then under here, you're just going to raise that up, and it's just going to clip back in to the top here. And then you're going to squeeze everything together. You'll see pegs aligned on this side. There's holes to line up with on this side. And underneath. This is what you should be seeing underneath. This is probably the most time-consuming part of this, because it's just a matter of lining that up. Now, just moving this out of the way. Here, you'll see that there's 2 holes right here. And there's posts right here that are going to slide right in. And to aid with that mechanism I was showing you earlier for the ankles that don't really do you much good is actually meant so you can plug that in into the slots. Now you might want to hold off on doing that until you get to the very end. You don't have to do that right now. And back here, you're just going to go ahead and close the tail up. And these grooves here are going to go into these molded holes that are shaped for that. And now you have the back of the T-Rex in place. You get the legs in place. And because these are able to articulate, it kind of makes it a little easier to get these to wrap around. But you don't want to close it yet because you have to have the head in place, because there's a groove here that this is going to slide into. Just like that. So just guide it in. Give it a squeeze. And then you can gotta be careful, these are actually really sharp. So they're also individually articulated, which is really cool. Just don't stab yourself with it. Okay. Now at this point, this is where you got to double check a couple things, because as you can see, this gray piece that's right here has a notch, and this is supposed to clamp onto that. And if it's not clamped on, these aren't going to reach to go ahead and close that up. So fortunately, it's not that difficult to get in there to adjust it. You just have to separate the legs again. And this is where I would recommend getting a spudger if you don't have one. So the easiest way is to go ahead and pull the tail down and then just pull apart like this. And then you can correct it so that it's over like that. See, now it's flush. angle it out, and then bring it back in. If you're having trouble, just so you can kind of see what I was talking about earlier with using the panels in the rear for the hip skirts, it could mean that this is butting up against the thigh and preventing you to get that angle. So have it raised a little bit, and that should take care of that problem. As you can see now, it goes in with ease. And that's one thing I'll say for these. It's not too restrictive in making you do it in the exact order in order to get this to transform. It's pretty forgiving. Once you have that in place, now it'll reach. And then you're all set. And I don't know about you, but I kind of like him posed like he is in the cartoon. And let me go and lower this so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Lower his head here. And back a little bit. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get that closed up. Okay. So, this is more like how he is posed in the cartoon. He is able to pose where you have him leaning forward more if you want to have more like Jurassic Park style T-Rex. He can pose that way. This is a big boy. And for articulation, it's the same articulation in the legs that he had in the arms. The joints do reverse for the elbow. The tail, it's limited. You have what's back here, so you can kind of waggle a little bit. You can see he's pretty well balanced. The toes, you can pose them as you need to. And these are on ball joints, so you can get a lot of range out of it. And so for the claws, just so you're aware if that happens, it slides back in. I must have pushed it out. You get 90 degrees with the elbows here, or just a little bit more than that actually. So the shoulders here are actually cut in a groove, so if you needed him to reach his head, he's not going to be able to really do that without bending the elbow. But for the most part, you can get any pose that you need out of them. And if you would like to see, just for size comparison, I have MP44 here. Oh, one other thing I did want to mention about articulation, it does twist. And you can twist it a full 360 if you need to. Head goes up and down, and the jaw articulates. And let me go and get him posed up the way that he would have been in the cartoon real quick. He's got a surprise here. got a cannon. Now some of the other Dinobots, or I'm sorry, Gigasaurs that were made by GigaPower, came with blast effects that you could connect here. And if you got the, not the Chrome version, I forgot what they were calling it, but those came with additional pieces that you can go ahead and put on that were smoky and gave it even more of a toy look. It's similar to this coloring that you have here on his now abdomen. But as you can see, him in Dino mode here with Prime MP44. I think that these scale the best with the Masterpiece. I know that's going to cause some arguments, but for me, I think that they look great. The reason why I'm holding this here is this also will store on the back here. There's a slot back here that this will go into. So weapon storage, that's a great thing. If you want to see with a Carbot, I got skids here. And I think, like I said, it's a really good scale. I think it works for like what you would find in the cartoon. For the Sunbow chart, I think it's pretty close. And I know that if you were watching the Sunbow cartoons, the scale is always changing. But this is why I went with them. They have so much detail on here. You kind of get lost in, and it's just detail that you wouldn't have seen on anything that was more tune accurate, because the tune accurate ones are just kind of flat colors, and you just don't see all of this detail. And it's beautiful. It's beautifully painted. There's paint all over this. And the other thing about these is they're not, comparatively speaking, with the other versions that you can get. The other ones would be Fans Toys. They're not priced in that same range. They're actually less expensive to get, and they're made really well. Die-cast parts. There's quality on here. Ratcheted joints. They did an amazing job with these, and they took forever to come out. Now I'm going to go ahead and get them back into bot mode so we can get some size comparisons that I didn't do earlier, so you can take a look at that. And like I had mentioned, these don't take forever to transform. And I know that this video is running a little long, but comparatively speaking, when it comes to Masterpiece Transformers, these are pretty simple as far as transformations go. And right here is the place to start. If you have a spudger or don't, this is what a spudger is. This one's made of nylon, and it helps to have this as a tool. It makes life with Transformers, Masterpiece versions of Transformers, easier to deal with, even the third-party ones. So once you have that split open, there's just wings out, head back here. You'll want to unplug these like so. Just getting his legs that'll become arms out of the way, just so you have room to operate here. Okay, I'm going to split the legs, but before you do, you'll want to go ahead and bend this down so that you'll have more room. And unpeg those tabs here. You just have to maneuver this so you can get clearance. Rotate it. Same on the other side. When I do these, I kind of like, I don't do one leg and then the other. I kind of try to do everything all at once. So I'm a little different than some of these other reviewers you may look at, so I apologize if you're used to that. Okay, so once you have that done, twist, close up that tail. Same on this side, twist, close that up. These extend out. And again, you can pull it a little bit here. It's got a spring mechanism to make that easy. This will slot right in there. And then there's a post here and a hole that'll lock right in. And it goes right back in. Okay. Now, it's easier if you just tilt it and then close it. And then underneath here, all done. That leg's done. Okay, this side to pull, that spring mechanism, drop it in. You got a hole, you got a post, goes right in. Open this up a little bit and just slot it in. Tilt it if it makes it easier for you, and then just close it up. And underneath here, you're going to twist that in. Look at that. Legs are done already. Okay, here in the shoulders, you can slide those forward so you can pop shoulders out. Raise it up. You're going to, in these grooves here, you're going to rotate the shoulders up. Now these are really stiff, so I'm going to have to do this backwards because I didn't have it in the right position. Or actually, before doing that, I'll just do this. Okay, so now I can rotate it up, lock it in, slide that one in. That locks this in place. On this side, same applies. Lock it in. So that's all locked in. Back here, you just drop that into place and slide it down. See, we're almost done. All that's left is take care of the arms. So remember what I had said earlier? Gotta get this into this position so this will open up. And then just rotate the fist out. Closes up. And now you can position that the way that you need to. Same on this side. Like Steven Seagal breaking the elbow. Flip it up. Pull it down. Yeah, I know Steven Seagal's a meme, but that's what he used to do in all his movies. Catch that arm and like so. Alright. Back in bot mode. I think that took less than 10 minutes. I know it's not something to brag about when you're talking about Transformers toys, but for Masterpiece, I've seen some that it feels like it takes like an hour to get them to go from one mode to the other. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and arm him up here. One thing about the blue-eyed head sculpt, it's a little different. It doesn't have the teeth design engraved into the sides of the face, so it's not the comic version. This is the toon version of the head. Have a look-see there. He doesn't have that. So shiny. All right. Got MP44. You got your MP skids here. So these are both official ones here from Takara Tomy. And this one's a third-party Transformer, so it's not official. They did make an official Grimlock. I'm not sure how that one scales. I never got my hands on it. but I don't feel the need to get any other Dinobots either that are Masterpiece scaled like this. But this is how they size. There is one other Grimlock toy that I do have, which is my mainline Grimlock. And in the mainline, this one actually stands pretty tall. This one's been given some custom parts, but you can see that there's quite a difference between going from Masterpiece scale to like mainline. And I like this one. It's just different. So I picked up this one a few years ago from the Chosen Prime. There's other places that you can go to obtain this one. You just have to keep checking back because they keep making new batches of them. So they'll come up for pre-order. You just got to keep your eyes out and you'll be able to find one. But I highly recommend this one. If you're partial to Fans Toys, I get it. I understand. They do make a quality product. I just felt like for my aesthetics, for the size and how much they cost, these were the ones that worked out better for me. All right. But that's going to do it here for Superator from GigaPower. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and give a subscribe. Comment below if you happen to have one. If you're looking for one, check out the link that I'll have included with the video. Otherwise, have a good day and see you next time.